Well, can I say first, congratulations to all of you for what you've been doing and making sure your voices and the voices of many others are heard. It's the way democracy is supposed to work for some of those who don't seem to understand that. You deserve to be congratulated for that. And you may or may not know, I called Ned the night of his win early. In fact, he was nervous about talking to me. He said, it's too early. You can't congratulate me now. And I said, yes, I can. You're going to win. Yeah, I can congratulate you now. My sense of it is that most of the Democratic senators in the Senate who've been asked have said they are for Lamont. Have they not said that? So that's progress. That's probably in part because of you. And I think that's a good thing. And I also told Ned when I called him that I wanted to be here as soon as I could to help, which is why I'm here. And if asked, as I suspect I will be in the press conference after the event, I will say that I do not think Lieberman should be running. I do not believe he should be running as an independent. I mean, if he ran as a Democrat, he asked Democratic voters to vote for him. They chose someone else. You know, we have to show respect for the people who voted in the Connecticut primary. So, I mean, I would go further than just being for Lamont. I do not think that Lieberman should be running.
I mean, the greatest competitive advantage this country has is its education system, and we got to continue to invest in our education system, and that's how we're going to keep, good-paying jobs here. I look around at the state of Connecticut. I look at pharmaceuticals. I look at, stem cell research. I look at energy technology and fuel cell technology. These are places that Connecticut can excel, and these are places that the United States should excel. You know, we have a Bush administration, I think, that's cutting back on research, cutting back on a lot of the core research we got to do going forward. I think that's wrong. Obviously, they're playing games with stem cell research. That's the very places that we ought to have fundamental federal funding. That's how we're going to keep our competitive edge going. Look at what China's doing. Look what India's doing when it comes to basic science research and science education. And I think we're losing our edge, and I think we're making bad choices. And that's, I think I'll pass it over to you.
Well, that actually pretty much said it. I mean, I think the key for America over the long term is to have some discipline and vision about where America needs to go. Unfortunately, that discipline and vision has been missing, and it's been combined with an ideological fervor that's very dangerous for America. If we want to remain competitive, we have to be at the cutting edge every day of science and math and technology. And unfortunately, there has been, I don't want to cry wolf, but there has been some slow erosion of that advantage over time. And it requires some investment. It requires us being smart and aggressive. But, the Bush administration has cut funding for the NIH. They've cut funding for our research universities in all these areas that we just talked about. We should be doing exactly the opposite. I mean, it's profoundly stupid. What we should be doing is investing in all those areas so that America can maintain its competitive edge. It's the only way that we can remain the great economic power in the world. This is a complete failure of presidential leadership. They can blame FEMA, they can blame bureaucracies, they can blame local government. The truth of the matter is that the President of the United States went to New Orleans instead of flying over in Air Force One or giving a speech, actually spent time to see what was happening and demanded action. There would be action taken. The President of the United States should be saying, I want to see these people in my office every morning, and I want you, and hold them accountable, and I want you to tell me what you did yesterday in New Orleans, not what you did 6 months ago, what you did yesterday. If that were to happen, things would change. I was there for these kids working. I never saw a government employee working, never saw a government employee coming around to ask what was happening. We were in St. Bernard's Parish where all the residents there that we spoke to had not seen anybody. The only help they'd gotten were from volunteers. This is an abysmal failure. And I might add, joins with an entire history of failure with this administration. I mean, it's the response to the hurricane, it's the war in Iraq, it's things like trying to implement the prescription drug benefit. Now, the truth, I think the honest truth is they're pretty good at running campaigns. They're very bad at governing. And
we're going to rebuild New Orleans. It's in the strategic interest of the United States to have this port vibrant and operating, and there should be no excuse for our foot dragging that's going on. Two, I look at Senator Lieberman, who rolled, FEMA right into Homeland Security. I think that was a terrible mistake. I think FEMA is a much more effective organization when it was pure and was an independent organization, and that would have been, better in terms of immediate response. And most importantly, I'm here, saluting Senator Edwards, because he's somebody that takes on an issue that a lot of people don't pay attention to. That's the question of poverty in this country. And one of the effects of, FEMA, one of the effects of Katrina was taking a look down at New Orleans, and we really saw poverty. A lot of people around the country that didn't realize the poverty that afflicts so many of our urban centers right now. And I think that makes it all the more important. It's an urgency for all of America that we rebuild New Orleans in a serious way. It's in the strategic interest of our country, and it's the right thing to do.
What do you think Ned Lamont's victory means nationally for Democrats running for office all around the nation?
Change. I think that what the message it sends, much more than the war, I think the message it sends is that a lot of people in America and a lot of Democratic grassroots activists are looking for change. They're looking for something different. I think they want not the politics as they've been in the past. They want something honest and authentic and real, and I think that's what motivates them. And I think that's the message from this election.
And you think that's a message that can resonate beyond the Democratic base?
I think it resonates across all party lines and across the whole ideological spectrum. People are so tired of politicians who are maneuvering and figuring out what they're supposed to say and telling them what they want to hear. They're looking for some bodies that they can trust and will tell them the truth, I think.